What's it in the locker room, Penny?
Yeah, I mean, guys are, frustrated, rightfully so, pissed off. That's a good thing. I don't think our guys quit. But, not being able to really throw it, run it, or do anything offensively is, it's tough. It's hard to continue, to be honest, to continue to get up and go, and you can't block them, the simplest piece. So, but I think the guys are going to continue to fight, which they did tonight, and it doesn't mean the result was there, but I don't think they quit.
You talk about Trenton getting knocked out, trying to come back, and then just quarterback play, even at one point, just kind of going to scataboo there.
Yeah, Scat's our fifth string quarterback, and that's where we're at. So you put your fifth string quarterback in and you roll. And I mean, he threw a ball to Troy, who made a really good play there to start the second, or in the middle of the second half, and got called back. But we were just trying to create a spark anyway, and he was really the next man up. And not ideal, but it's the situation we're in.
As much as you guys have been able to roll with the punches, and a lot of adversity has been hit, you've been hit throughout the season. Was today different just because of Trenton going down that early, or is it something else that was like impossible to overcome that maybe did a better job earlier in the season to overcome?
Well, I think it's just a combination of we really couldn't do one thing offensively. Normally you can try to hey, get the ball to the edge and run speed sweeps. But this is a good staff who wasn't going to let you run speed sweeps. They're bringing double edge pressure all night, in which you got to run pass pro and run full slide angle routes too, or you have to run zone schemes at it and read an edge, and then you still got to win your blocks. So I mean, they knew what they were doing. They knew that they could take away our kind of free plays by just pressuring their field with field and boundary pressures with zone dogs, and really make our guys, win one-on-ones consistently. So credit to those guys, and I got to do a better job finding ways to do something.
Utah had a season-high 352 rushing yards. What were they able to do effectively in the run game and kind of kept you guys on your hands?
Yeah, I thought they moved us. I thought they moved the down linemen, and you combine that with our defense being on the field every play. So if our defense is on the field every single play of the game, one, we can't get touches to offensive guys that we need touches to because we're not getting enough first downs. So when you look at the box score and you're like, oh, Badge doesn't get enough touches, Scat doesn't get enough touches, well, it's because you don't have enough plays. If you don't have enough plays, you can't get enough touches. You got first downs. If you don't get enough plays, then your defense is on the field too much and they're tired. And then we had 2 D linemen go down. So you have 2 D linemen go down on top of playing significant snaps, and that's a recipe for disaster and fatigue.
Coach, it seemed like some plays in the first half and even in the second half within their running game that you guys were able to stop it and they were able to bust big ones. What were you seeing from the sidelines that they were just adjusting?
Yeah, no, they were just hitting creases, right? That was it. I mean, we knew that they were going to motion and run split flow zone. We knew they were going to mix in wide zone. It was just, the reason why they're a really good football team, a really good program, is they do what they do and they do it at a high level. And I mean, it showed up tonight for them, and it didn't show up tonight for us.
What's your take on them scoring the touchdown that they didn't really have to score with 8 seconds left or whatever?
Oh, no, they're playing football. Our job's stop them. I don't care if they would have thrown it. I mean, this is not Pop Warner. This is collegiate football. If they would have been throwing the ball all fourth quarter, I would have been perfectly fine with it. Right? If they would have felt that they needed to get work in with a quarterback and throw the ball, that's 100% their decision to make their football team better, right? Because that's their job as their coaching staff. So no issue with it at all. It's our job to stop it.
You didn't have Glass travel, and most of your best offensive linemen are not here. Can you put into context the difficulty of that challenge, especially going up against a team like Utah?
Yeah, I mean, you're facing one of the best lines and fronts in college football, and you're down 8 guys, and I got to find a way to help them more, because we had a few shots open in the game when they were rotating their safeties to the motion. We just couldn't protect long enough to get it down to them, and we couldn't establish a run game. So it's definitely extremely challenging, but nobody cares. Everybody's going to look at the box score, and they're going to say that's who we are. And we got to be able to distract ourselves from that and just know that that's not who we are, and we got to go back to work. But definitely challenging, for sure.
No DeCarlos Brooks, obviously, you saw the spark he gave you the last 2 games. So in addition to all the linemen and the quarterbacks, now you're without a guy that's made plays for you.
Yeah, he had a partially or a torn hamstring, so he was out. We didn't know if he'd make it or not. He just couldn't make it for the game. He wasn't ready yet, and we weren't going to push him with a hamstring. We need him down the stretch. So losing him was obviously big. He's done a nice job for us. But at the end of the day, football comes down to blocking and tackling. And if you can't block them, you can't tackle them, nothing else matters. And we got to go back to work blocking and tackling. And I got to do a better job getting our guys better at blocking and tackling the guy in front of us, because that's what this game was about. It wasn't about a special play. It wasn't about a trick. It was about them saying, tackle us, and them on defense saying, we're not going to just let you have free plays. By getting the ball to the edge, we're going to force the ball to be played in the box, and you're going to have to block us. And we got to be better, and I got to do a better job putting our players in better positions, better leverages and angles to block and tackle.
Coach, you gave a lot of praise to Coach Dillingham and this program leading into this week. Now having coached against him as a head coach, was that stance like reaffirmed to you?
Yeah, it's what I knew they were. It's why I've been showing clips of Utah since I got here, is because this is the standard, in my opinion, of right now Pac-12 football and a culture that can respond and a culture that can win through a test of time, because they're physical, they're big, they play with a good O-line and D-line, they're tough, and they're resilient. And, coming off a big loss for them the week prior, I knew we were going to get their best game, and we were going to have to block them and tackle them. And that's what the game was going to come down to.
Jordan mentioned that kind of things start at the top in terms of the team leadership of veterans like yourself, having to set the example and kind of turn around. What have you seen from your players in that locker room, kind of in the reaction that maybe gives you confidence that these last 3 games will be on a better foot?
Yeah, the guys aren't going to quit. Our guys don't quit. So that's just not the identity of what we're building. Our guys are out there trying to stop them. They may have scored in the last drive, but that wasn't for a lack of effort. We just missed a play, right? So we're going to go out there and we're going to compete and we're going to fight. It's going to make us hungrier. I think the majority of this team understands this is a process, and that this is year one in a process that takes time, and that there's been a lot of unfortunate circumstances, that there's no excuses for what happened today. But we got to be able to respond, continue to work, continue to fight, and continue to get better and better and better every single day. And even though the result wasn't what we want to see, doesn't mean we got worse today. Doesn't mean we got worse today. We weren't a worse football team today than we were last week. Did we miss some plays? Yeah. But are we a worse football team? No. We're the same football team, if not a little bit better, actually, than we were last week. We just didn't make the plays we did last week, and we played a better team than we did last week, and they won up front. I got to do a better job, point blank.